Generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am your father.
Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about. All right, you looking live at Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, Jules, aka DJ. I'll tell you what. I'm joined with my dad, my co-host Cowboy Joe, and also known as Cowboy Joe 64. And we're back with another one on a Tuesday night. And yeah, we're here. You want to say what's up to the people and talk about Trayvon, and we can talk about some other things.
What's up to the people? Happy New Year, and got some Cowboys breaking news. We're gonna chop it up.
Yeah. So kind of sounded kind of. There we go.
Me?
So what you say?
How do I sound?
Oh, you sound good. So yeah. So I mean, we can jump it off with the elephant in the room. So how did you feel about hearing when you heard the news today?
We'll say that I wasn't surprised. I mean, I think that he was kind of headed that way. It's been that way for a few weeks. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys are out on this system, on this defensive coach, and they're just going through the motions. I think this coming week, guys just hoping that they're not playing a lot, they're not active.
Yeah.
So he wasn't going to come back. So this is pretty much just kind of low hanging fruit. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I agree with everything you said. That's exactly what it was, and I feel like to add to your point, I feel like not only are the players out on the system, I feel like the players that are really dedicated to the sport, they're out on the Joneses too. I think that I think that a lot of players are just sick and tired of the whole, like, first of all, it used to be, to be honest, it used to mean something really to be a Cowboy and to wear the star. And I think that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, they kind of like messed that up kind of a little bit, to where it's kind of like the players are like, yeah, like, how like when Dez was like telling George Pickens, like, man, playing for the Cowboys, man, it's worth more to your legacy than any dollar amount, and it's just like, yeah, maybe when you were playing days, or before you were right before you were playing, but now it doesn't really mean much. I mean, it means a lot to football fans and the football players, but to me, it's just like, would you rather play for, would you rather play for, if you would have asked me this question 20 years ago and said, would you rather get a $50 million contract, or whatever it was back then, or this huge contract, or would you rather play for the Dallas Cowboys and get this contract that's a little less, and then but you play for the Cowboys back then, it would have been like, oh yeah, Cowboys all the way, da 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 da. But now it's just like, bro, I'd much rather go play for the Browns and make $100 million. I much rather go play for the Jets, or I much rather go play for Denver or LA or Philly or Washington or anywhere, and make, if as long as I'm making, I mean, I'm making more money there, I'm good with that, because at the end of the day, it's just like, how many players have we seen play for the Cowboys, leave and get a championship? I mean, it's almost like the recipe. It's almost like you leave here, you get a championship. That's really what it is. Same with the coaches. It's just like, you leave here, you go far. You're here, you don't. You leave here, you become great. You stay here, you don't. Aiden Dirty's having a wonderful season. DeMarcus Lawrence having a wonderful season. He has more of a shot now at winning a title than he ever had here just this year. And they haven't even went to this. The playoffs haven't even started yet. DeMarcus Ware left here, Super Bowls. Sean Payton left here, Super Bowl. It's a lot of coaches. As soon as they leave here, championships. A lot of players too. We literally can just name them. We will go on forever. So it's kind of like the Joneses has kind of messed that up to where it's just like people are like, dude, like I have the strong idea that Micah at the beginning of the season, he was just like, y'all not trying to win. Y'all, I'm trying to be involved. I'm trying to be involved in the draft.
You
I
talking
want to
about
be the
before the season, before this season?
before the trade, yeah. Like I
Hmm.
want to be I want to be involved. I want to be involved in the draft. I want to be involved in everything. And then it's just like, you know, teams with real teams and real football guys, they would love that. Just think about it. If you had if we ran an organization and we ran an organization, no matter what, we ran an organization. It's 2025, 2026. And we got our star player, Michael Parsons. We got our athlete. We got our star player. He's all football. That's all he does is football, football, football. He's damn near a Hall of Famer already, and he wants to be involved in the draft. If you're a good GM, you like sitting up in there like, man, what you think about that, Micah? What you think about it? What you think about him? Who you think we should get, Mike? What you think? What you think we should do? I mean, you running this defense. What you think we should do? What's on your brain? You know, come on, Dak. What you think, Dak? What you think? What y'all think, CD? What y'all think? Y'all think who y'all think we should get as our offensive coordinator? What's hot? Who y'all think should be the good offensive coordinator? Who y'all think we should look at as far as in this draft? Who you want, Dak, to make this thing go? you know. But instead, they say we don't like the fact that that you want to be involved. That doesn't cut it for us. That's not good for us. As a matter of fact, we're gonna draft Mozzie Smith. That's who we're gonna draft, and we're not gonna take your advice on anything of this. Last year we're gonna draft Izaraku. When they took Tyler Guyton, we're gonna take Tyler Guyton instead. We're not gonna. You want to be involved? We don't care. You have a podcast talking about football. We don't care. As a matter of fact, who do y'all want back? Y'all want Zim back as y'all defensive coordinator? That's what the loud cry is. We don't care. We're going bottom of the barrel here. We're saving our coins. We're not concerned about what you guys want. But see, when it came to Dak, though, in the offense, they had a full-on meeting about who y'all want to be the next offensive coordinator, what y'all think. And the offense was like, hey, we want Shotty. Shotty, of course, Dak going to champion Shotty. And he should. I mean, Shotty as an offense coordinator, I mean, you can poke and dots here and there and say, oh, Kellen was this and Kellen was that. We can stop with the Kellen. The man has a championship. It's over. That's it. He left here and got a championship, so we can just stop. I mean, he left here. We had the number one offense here when he was here. He left. They had the number one offense. The only thing that's different is they won a championship. So I mean,
one big difference is they had a
GM.
bona fide GM, of course.
That's it. Because we can say Kellen because we had a Zeke and we had all of this.
What I was going to add is that they had an OG coordinator who put in a defense that they had a lights out performance in the Super Bowl. So we've never had that.
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with Kellen. He did his part. So
that's the reason he got one of the reasons he got a ring.
Well, I mean, now we need to say, well, the reason why Jalen Hurts got a ring is because he had an OG defensive coordinator, and now we got to say the reason why their head coach got a ring is because he had an OG defensive coordinator. So
most people are anti Jalen Hurts, and they don't give him credit for that. So you on point with that,
right? So, but
I'm just talking about Kellen.
Me too, because most people are anti Kellen, and they have no reason to be. None.
Well, I think a lot of people here, when he was here, was anti-Kellen, but I think a big part of the reason that he won is because Vic Fangio put together a brilliant game plan and a good defense.
That's great, but the reason why we lost isn't because of him. That's the point.
Because of Kellen?
Correct. It wasn't. He wasn't the reason.
I disagree. 21-22. He was a big reason why we lost, but we didn't. But again, we didn't have that kind of defense.
Correct. So if we would have had
when we lost to the 49ers in the well-known Boombox game, Kellen was absolutely responsible for that loss.
He was, but it wasn't. He was responsible for the loss just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right. So was he wasn't responsible for the Dan Quinn loss game,
No,
right?
but Kellen
So
wasn't here then.
right. So my point is, it doesn't matter. He wasn't the reason for the loss when we were here. You got to get a blame to
Okay,
everybody.
so just going back to what I said, I forget the years. Both years we played the 49ers.
Hmm.
Kellen was a huge reason why we lost the second time. One of the
Yeah.
main reasons we lost is
Hmm.
because he didn't like Malik Davis and didn't want to play him.
Right. And our GM and our owner was even huger, was even bigger.
Well, yeah, they
Right.
were.
So
They
so
we gonna
there.
talk about we'll talk about them here in just a minute.
Yeah. So right. My whole point is that people come here with their skills and their talents. They get nothing. They leave and they win. So the
That
thing
is
is
true.
that and so Micah, we can beat a dead horse and do all of this and all of that, but the bottom line is we had the pieces to win a championship, and the Joneses destroyed it. Bottom line, they came in
Yeah.
and they said day one, they said we're hiring Eberflus. We're not all the camaraderie that the defense had with Trayvon Diggs, Micah, the air, the land, sea, and air. They didn't like that. They don't like that. They don't
Hey,
like when go ahead.
well, and I was gonna tell you something here before I forget. So we're gonna just talk about like the franchise, and we're gonna do quite a few shows over the next few weeks about
What's up,
like,
JBB boy? He's in
hey,
the chat.
JVB boy. So one of the things that we got to talk about with Diggs, we got to talk about the front office. So one of the problems with this front office, to be honest, and so I'm gonna spend a lot of time always talking about the 49ers, the Ravens, the Eagles, uh, well ran franchises. One thing they don't do, they
Mm-hmm.
just have a plan and they have a system that they go by, whether it's a draft, coaches, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the 49ers, they don't ask their players about nothing.
They don't.
The Ravens don't either.
They
So
don't.
one of the things that makes the Cowboys so dysfunctional is that they do this, and there was a rumor that they did this when they let Dez go. That doesn't happen in other 49 other organizations. So the fact that they do that, that's not a good thing. But that being said, one thing I want to say about Diggs, one thing I want to say about Diggs, the thing that people don't talk about, I've heard just so many stories and content creators and social media about Diggs. Here's the thing. Here's the deal with Diggs. Okay, before he got injured, he was an All Pro corner, and he would have stayed an All Pro corner, except he had an ACL, he had microfracture surgery. When you add those two injuries together, that is a 2-year recovery. It's not 9 months. It's not 12 months. It's not 14 months. It's 2 years. So the bottom line with Diggs is the ACL and a microfracture, he wasn't the same player. Was he good? Was he better than Turquoise Bridges? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he probably was. But two things, he wasn't the same player, and then he's in a defense that really does not fit him. So, you know,
See,
I,
let
I
me
what I
let
want to
me
say is that if Diggs stays healthy, let me say this and I'll let you talk. If Diggs is healthy, he never tears his ACL, he never has microfracture surgery. You know what's happening this season?
but he's getting
I,
extended.
I think, well, no, he could be extended, but so last year he would have had a normal season. He probably would have been All Pro. This year, you know what I think happens, and I'm gonna piggyback on what you said about Micah. If Trayvon Diggs was healthy on this team, if Micah was on this team, Eberflus wouldn't have made it through the season. He would have been fired during the season. That's how bad it would have got for him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And to your point, they wouldn't have asked the guys in the locker room about Eberflus. The guys in the locker room would have been talking to the media about Eberflus.
Hmm.
So Eberflus is very lucky that Diggs was hurt.
Well, and then on top of that, a lot of people don't understand the impact that trading Micah had on the secondary. half of these plays that these guys are getting burnt on because they don't know the coverage because Eberflus is that bad wouldn't even be happening because Michael would have pressure or sacks on the
Well,
on the quarterback.
and
See,
you could
that's
throw Tank in there too.
Tank as well. So, Tank and Micah were so disruptive that these quarterbacks didn't know what it's so many games that we would have won just by Micah being there alone and disrupting the passer. One thing that
Mhm.
Cowboys fans we kept saying this year is like, why is he not blitzing? What is going on? And
He
see, we
doesn't blitz, and people keep saying that he
see
doesn't blitz. That's not even
and
like
see the and see,
what are we asking?
and then the thing on top of that is, see, even if he's not blitzing. If Micah was on the field, he wouldn't have been having the blitz because regardless if Micah is blitzing or not, he gonna require double team, triple team, and he gonna pressure the quarterback
I'm
no matter what.
I'm pushing back on you on this right here. This
It's a
is where
fact.
we gonna disagree.
It's a fact.
I think Micah was on this team. He would be doing Micah things. He's probably all pro, but I'm telling you, this defense is so bad. What would have happened is, honestly, and you talked about this yourself during Micah's career here. What teams do, they just scheme up Micah. They send the protection to his side. Micah is going against two or three people.
Right.
That's what
And he
would have
still
happened
gets
this
pressure.
season.
And
He
on top of
does. He
and on
does.
top of him still getting pressure, what that does is it makes everybody else one-on-ones look better. So he
Let me
can
let
do
me
that.
stop you right there. It makes everybody one on one look better unless you're 12 yards off the receiver,
Right, unless you're 12 yards off the receiver. But
and it don't really matter.
but at the same time, what I'm gonna say is statistically speaking, let's just cut out 50% of the plays that they get beat over the top. Let's just cut them out because that's what would have happened. Cut those out. Cut 50% of those out off
What's
top.
our record right now?
Bad.
So we trying to go for 8-1.
Yep.
So I believe, and I gotta just add this up. So give me 6-1. So you might be 10-6-1 with Micah.
Mm-hmm.
I just think this defense is so bad. I'm not sure.
Well, here's the thing. No matter what, with Micah, we in the playoffs.
We have defensively. I don't know if you saw this stat. And we just gonna slice and dice a lot of these stats over the next few weeks. Today, I saw that we've given up more points than anyone in the NFL this year with one game left. We've given up the most points in Dallas Cowboy history. And I'm telling you, with Micah on the team, man, it's putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
And
See,
he should be on the team. We know that.
people don't understand how much you don't understand what you got until it's gone.
I mean,
See,
we know what kind of player
the
Micah
the
is.
the,
No,
the, the, the
we all do.
defense the defense is that bad, but at the same time, one player changes that defense. See, think about it like this: the defense last year, we were crying talking about how bad the defense was last year. And see, the thing about it, what did we learn when Micah was off the field and when he came back? Yeah, the defense is bad, guys. The defense is bad all season. But when Micah is on the field, they're the best defense in the league per EPA. I mean
Yeah.
EPA. And when he's
Yeah.
not, they're the worst. So this would have been the exact same thing as that last year. They would have been one of the best teams EPA while he was on the field, and they would have been one of the worst when he was, and they
Uh,
was one of the worst, and he wasn't. It's
So
just
I think myself, this defense, this coordinator, I believe. Let's just take Micah out of the picture.
well, okay. Before you say that, I just want you to think about these games that we lost with one sack a game. How much would that change our our trajectory? The Panthers game, one sack would have changed that entire game. The Vikings, one sack would have changed that. One sack from Micah would change that entire game.
I don't know. I just
It would. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it before. How
but
many times have we seen
you're saying one sack a game
one
when you're
sack?
looking at you literally have receivers that are not being covered.
Yeah. So when you have a receiver that's not being covered, and then this guy and then this quarterback gets sacked, none of that matters.
Yeah,
So
but
I mean, look at Look. Arizona, that game we would have won that game. 1 sack. So just think about it. Just
I
think
don't think
about it like
so. I don't agree.
just think about it like this. That 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 game we played Carolina when Bland lined up 6 yards off the field. Do you
It
think
wasn't 6 yards.
it was 8? So do you think that when he lined up 8 yards off the field, do you think that would have mattered if Michael was on the field? It would not have mattered at all. That would not have been a completion. It just wouldn't have
Like,
mattered.
so I guess where we're disagreeing is we're 100% agreement that Micah should be on the team. He should not have been traded. So that's just a fact. What I'm saying is this defensive coordinator and this scheme, Micah on this team, it's this defense is so bad. I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference. You're not even giving
No.
the receivers not being covered. You're not even giving Micah a chance to get to the quarterback.
You can't say that. Look at what happened in the Green Bay in the playoffs. Look at that game. The defense was horrible. Dan Quinn had us in the zone, but what was Micah doing? He's putting pressure on the quarterback, and what ended up happening? We lost the game at the end by a couple by what? We ended up coming back. But here's the thing. One player named Micah Parsons can change your defense from being ranked 31 to being ranked 22nd.
He can. I guess my overall thought process is, and you said something that was pretty interesting. I thought you talked about Cowboy players and fans not being Cowboy fans, and so I was chatting with you and your uncle the other night. Is what Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and their whole, whatever they call them. We got to start looking at the whole Cowboy fandom and the Cowboy, mystique itself. And Michael Irvin talked about this before. He talked about this last offseason. He was saying that people are referring to the Kansas City Chiefs as a new America's team, and they're not. But you got to start looking at the overall significance of the Cowboy the Cowboy team, the fandom. And so it's going to be really hard for Cowboy fans this offseason to stay focused on that. And what we got to focus on is that Jerry Jones is not the Cowboys. He just owns the Cowboys. And so going back to what you were saying earlier, I think we're not that far away from just being the Cowboys. You just got to do a couple of things to kind of change the landscape. So, but yeah.
When you think about just in your mind right now, when you think about the Cowboys and you think about the Cowboys winning championships and being a Super Bowl contending team, what do you picture? Because let me tell you what I picture. I picture it being a new quarterback. I picture it being a new dynamic running back, like somebody like when Zeke was here when he first started off. I picture us having like a star player on defense, a couple of them, like Overshawn when he was fresh. And I picture I can picture Shotty on the sideline. I can picture Shotty being the head coach and offensive coordinator. But I picture our defensive coordinator being somebody rough and rugged, like how Rex Ryan used to be back in the day. Like how he used to be, like when he used to be on the sideline looking menacing. It's gonna take someone to come in here and totally change the whole dynamic. Like Shotty, for what he is bringing to the table, he good. Like JVB Boy says, Shotty is Jason Garrett 2.0. I don't believe that. I don't agree with that. And I think that Shotty is kind of, and then I do have some hopium in here. But I do think that Shotty is the coach that is just sweet enough for the Joneses to get along with, but he's also just so smart enough and just like has enough of his dad and has enough football knowledge that he is a football guy and he knows what it takes to win. Like for me, Shotty, you can substitute, you can put Shotty on the Philadelphia Eagles and expect for them to win a championship. You can put Shotty on the Rams, and I think that they will win a championship with him at the helm. You can put Shotty on the Ravens. I think that he would be a good That he would run a good organization. He would run a good team. So I feel like Shoddy ain't the problem. You could not put Eberflus on any of those teams without it being a straight up catastrophe because they're that different. Mike McCarthy. I feel like you can't put McCarthy on the Eagles or on a staff like that and just be like, okay, I expect for them to win. I expect for them to win, but something goofy will happen to where he just can't get over he can't get out his own way. But Shoddy, I don't think that's the case. I feel like you can drop Shoddy in a playoff game and he will win it no matter what. You know what I'm saying? But also, Shoddy has what we, you know, I'm gonna say this because this is really the whole spiel of my conversation. It's gonna be the whole spiel of my off season this is gonna be it for me. This is what I'm gonna be talking about. We need to understand that we need to stop looking around and calling other people's names and saying all of this other stuff. It's two people that are ruining this franchise and ruin season after season after season after season. And their names are Jerry Jones and Steven Jones. All those years, people always told me, oh man, Jerry Jones is y'all ain't gonna never win nothing until he out the way. And I used to be like, man, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all just talking. That's just what people say. Y'all ain't really know what y'all talking about. But that is the God's honest truth. It's just like those are the two people that when everything is said and done, you be like, they did that. Just like this is a front office thing. It doesn't matter who the players are. If we had Patrick Mahomes on this team and Tyreek Hill, we had Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill in their prime, we would still lose. If we had if we had Michael if we had Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, and Troy Aikman with this front office in today's game, we would still lose because they can't put whatever they need to do to put a complete team together and be football guys and think like innovative football. They can't. They absolutely blow it every time. No one trades Michael Parsons to the enemy. No one does that. No one says we're gonna hire Eberflus because he's cheap. First of all, I don't care how cheap he is. No one's gonna go hire Eberflus because he is that bad of a coach. No one would do that. No football guy would do that. No football guy would say, "Huh, let's get this guy that is probably the worst head coach in the league and make him a part of our organization." No one does that. No one says, you know what? Let's pay Michael Gallup coming off of an ACL injury and let's let Amari Cooper walk. No one does that. No one says, huh, you know what? Let's think about paying George Pickens. You know what? Matter of fact, we got a quarterback that we got in the 4th round. He just took this team to the playoffs. Let's not pay him. Let's wait until his contract until his salary gets high and unaffordable to where when you sign him, it ruins the team. No one does that. But they do these things almost like clockwork. Every year there's a few things that the Cowboys can do to get them over the hump. No one does this. No one says, you know what, we're not going to spend any money in free agency. That's just not the way we do. It's only enough pie to go around. No one says that. No one does that. No one does. No one has keeps a head coach for 10 years. A losing head coach for 10 years. No one does that. No one says, um, no one says, hey, we need a new coach. We're not gonna extend this guy. And so instead of us, we're not gonna extend this guy. He knows that. Instead of us going ahead and getting a good coach right now, we're gonna just let him have a lame duck year, and we're not gonna give him any ammunition to build a roster out. The Cowboys, you mean to tell me that this guy, Ben Johnson, everybody is like, man, Ben Johnson is the next best thing. He's the hottest commodity. He got Detroit Lions coming. I mean, this dude is saying, hey, I want 20 million a year. That's what I want. That's what I'm taking. That's what I want. Nobody would say, no one is that bad to where that guy right there says, I'm not looking at their I'm not going their way. I'm not dealing with them. They are not an organization that I want to even be a part of. I don't even want to deal. I don't even want to. I don't even want them to interview me because I don't want to go there. Because you know why I don't want to go there? Because they have these guys that think that they're running that are running things, that think they know what they're talking about, but they don't. And I don't even want to be a part of that. Let's just let them be the laughing stock and let them do what they do. No one does that. And then Jerry and Steven, no NFL team has a chance to hire a head coach of America's team and says, we're interviewing one guy and we're hiring one guy. That's what we're doing. We're interviewing bottom of the barrel coaches and we know who we hiring off top. No one does that. And so there is no logic behind these things. There is no smarts behind this thing. This is not innovative. These guys just we're saying that they don't know what they're doing. I think they do know what they're doing. These guys are doing these things on purpose. It's not like they're wishing upon a star. They didn't think that Eberflus was going to be good.
That's
They,
where we disagree.
I mean, how could you think that? How could you think that Michael Gallup was going to be was going to be better than Amari Cooper? How could you think that?
They actually thought that.
How can you think that trade Michael Parsons would benefit this team in any way? How could you think that?
That's what Jerry thought.
How could you think that drafting Schoonmaker in the second round is good? Why would you think
So,
that?
so a lot of these things we've been talking about, and I've shared you with you before. So, you know what I'm saying about. So you're talking about Jerry and Steven. So everything you said about them, you ever said anything wrong? I got 30 years to prove that you're right, and I'm gonna add a third leg to the chair. It's a 3-legged chair. The other part of the chair is the Cowboys scouting department, because the Cowboys are a draft and develop team. They're drafting. They had this reputation that they're like one of the best drafting teams in the league. They're not.
But
But
the title of the next show is going to be "There is no such thing as a draft and develop team." Every single NFL team drafts and develops their players. There
but you
is
got
no such thing.
but you got one team that's unique. That's all they do.
That's so
So
stupid.
every now and then they'll change up, and do a little something different. Like this year, to their credit, the George Pickens trade, it was brilliant while it lasted, but you canceled that out with your other trade.
They run a
So
charity. They run a charity organization. That's what they do.
so, but yeah, it just keeps coming back to the same thing. It's the front office. It's the way they do business, and where I push back on you, and I continue to do it. Sometimes you have to just face the truth and just keep it 100. And it's obvious to me that, and I was talking to your uncle the other night about this. You have to understand that some people are just not good at their job. He's not purposely sabotaging the team. It just appears that he is, because that's how bad at his job he is. So that's what you just can't face the fact that can't nobody, no owner, no scouting department be this incompetent. And you don't want to call people incompetent. But when you look at the last 30 years of what they've done, they're not doing it on purpose. He literally thought that he could trade Micah, and he was quoted as saying, and he believed this, they said, we got enough people on the team to create a pass rush. That wasn't the case. It never was, but he believed it. And they actually believed, Stephen, you can find the quote. Stephen Jones actually was on one of the platforms saying, we actually traded Amari Cooper so that we can get Gallup on the field. This was Gallup coming off ACL surgery. That's not purposely doing anything. They actually believed that Michael Gallup was like a better long-term player than Amari Cooper. They believe that.
Watch out for this right here coming.
And they gave Michael, and before I'm not cut you off, They actually gave Michael Gallup more money than they paid Dez. Just throw that in there.
That's crazy. Um, they they got this thing going on now with they got with homeboy in Las Vegas. They talking about him or Pickens. That's how I seen that today. Him
Las
or Pickens.
Vegas.
Yeah, the Raiders.
You my Crosby?
Somebody put out there that him or Pickens. I was just like, that is just absolutely crazy. But then, also, this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let you
Yo,
go.
and why?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just like I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. But my thing is this: you're right. They are that incompetent. But when you have a product and you know that you don't have any success within the last 30 years. This is not an anomaly. In the media, I'm starting to get upset with the media. The media, they need to, the Cowboys, the legacy media, they need to just start saying things for what it is. Just fall on your sword. Somebody just get up there and fall on your
It's
sword.
not gonna happen.
Somebody like Vach, somebody needs to get up there and be like, somebody like Vach need to get an opportunity. Somebody that got a somebody like I don't know, somebody like somebody like
Yeah,
Bobby.
we got to talk about Vach.
Bobby Bobby needs to just go ahead and go ahead. Bobby got enough he got enough say so, and he got enough leverage to where he can start a podcast tomorrow and he will make just as much money as he do working for 105.3 The Fan. He needs to get on 105.3 The Fan one day. And while they interviewing Jerry, just flat out say, Jerry, y'all have been unsuccessful for 30 years. What makes you think that what success pattern do y'all have? What tells you that anything that you're gonna do is gonna bring success? You're not a successful organization. You're the only team that and since 2000 team in the NFC that has not appeared in the NFC Championship game. The decisions that you have made has cost this team to lose for 30 years. He's gonna get fired. But he'll be all right. The next day, he gonna have a whole bunch of people that's gonna hire him, and he'll be all right. But my thing is like this: when you have a product that you know you have failed for 30 years, there is no way that you can think that anything that you're gonna do is gonna return success. This is like not scratching the lotto. This is not that. This is just like when you have a job. There are formulas to success, and if you don't do them, you're gonna fail. It's just like being at work. If you're at work and you've been constantly failing, what makes you think that if you go into work the next day that you're not gonna fail again? If you don't have someone to give you the game, you have to pattern yourself after someone. If you don't, then you're gonna fail.
But that's not. So the thing is, it's frustrating, especially for your generation. Okay, so people like me and my generation, we've seen championship, we've seen NFC championship games. And your generation is very frustrating. But the problem is, and keeps going back to this, that's not who he is. He did this thing that we're talking about. He doesn't really get it, and he's not. I don't think he's going to get it because that's just not who he is. He literally is going to wake up on Monday when the season is over. In his mind, what he's done, he's just not really about that life. This is not really something that's. It doesn't really hit him the same way. So he's looking at it like, one of the things that this Hall of Fame thing, he got a Hall of Fame jacket for being a contributor. One of the big reasons that we're having a lack of success and changes, that's kind of part of it. He's really like a made man. He's making money, so this just don't really mean a whole lot to him. It means more to the players and to the fans of the Cowboys. But him, there ain't nothing that you can tell me today on December 29th, is that the 29th?
The 30th.
30th, that's going to convince me over the next 4 or 5 months that he's going to do anything to put this thing on course. And we're going to be back to broken clock is right twice a day. You can just look up and start getting things going your way. he hasn't been able to do that with this team. He's had that kind of luck in other parts of his life. He got lucky and just stuck a pipe in the ground and hit all. He's done that with different things, but with the football part of this, see the football game, the NFL running a good franchise, having good front offices and good personnel people. That's hard work, and one of the things with them, they've never approached it that way because it's just kind of like this is their thing. It's a family business. They can just it doesn't. They will tell you that it means everything to them, but you can't look at the last 30 years and just say, yeah, it means something to you, but like, what are you doing? And then the biggest thing that I keep trying to get across to people like you is understand that they're just not good at what they do. They don't know how to manage the salary cap. They don't know how to draft well. They just don't. They don't do a good job at it.
This is what I was gonna say, and it falls in line with what you're saying. And it could be a little bit of both. Like it could, the Cowboys organization could mean everything to them, but winning does not. Winning football games and winning championships doesn't mean everything to them. But sure, the sign on the building, and sure, the sign and and the logo and the company, I'm sure, great. Yeah, I'm sure it does mean everything to you, but winning championships doesn't. And then it's just
they would like to win one. Yeah, they just don't know how to do it.
You know what I was what I was thinking the other day? A lot of things just come down to straight up intelligence. If they're just not intelligent people.
But let me point out, this business, an NFL franchise, how to make the playoffs, how to get good players. You can be intelligent, but you're just not good at that part of whatever that is. They're intelligent, but they're just not. So. They're not good football people.
Right? They're not intelligent at they're not intelligent at what they need to be intelligent of.
They're not good. They're not good at scouting. They're not good at drafting. They're not good. They're hiring. Let me say this, and we're gonna talk about this over the offseason. They don't know how to hire coaches. That's like obvious. They don't know how to do that.
They do everything off of charity and feelings and not logic. They do everything off of emotion. The reason why Micah was not here,
they do everything when it comes to hiring coaches. They don't want to pay coaches.
Yeah, it's all about money, and it's all about saving money, and it's all about.
And they believe this is in their fabric, and it's really Jerry and Steven too. Jerry, in his heart, he believes that to have a good football team, you don't have to pay a coach a lot of money to do that. He believes that.
This dude said they are going all in and proceeded to spend the least amount of money in the off season out of every team.
And then what he did was, so this is how he operates. First of all, the all-in comment was basically a setup by Clarence Hill. So Clarence Hill said something that caused Jerry to make that statement. But then look what happened. After he said that, he spent the next 16 weeks to 2 years saying, I said that, but I really meant this. Well, I said that, but let's look at it this way. So even all in, there was no truth behind that.
None whatsoever. It was a lie. And he knew that.
It was a snake oil salesman type deal.
Right. He knew what we meant by that, and he knew that his response was not what we were looking. I mean, he knew that his response didn't equal what we were what we meant for it to mean.
Well, he saw the results coming down the pike, and so he tried to get ahead of it and say, well, 8 weeks ago or 9 weeks ago, I said all in, but this is what I really meant. So even with him, all in, he don't even know how to do. He doesn't know how to do all in.
He's not. He's just not. They're not genuine people. Some people just don't know how to say I don't know. Well, I don't like them.
They're just not good at their job. So they got 30. They got 30 years of evidence. Now let me say this. This is what some of the stuff that they can do is really simple. And you can be intelligent or not intelligent or whatever the case may be, but they can do 3 or 4 realistic things this offseason that can just turn this ship all the way around. So we're gonna talk about this on future shows. So Max Crosby, I told you this earlier today. They're backed into a corner, but other teams are not. So teams like the Eagles, the 49ers, you're gonna see a story that they traded for Max Crosby, and to get Max Crosby, they gave the Raiders a 3 and a 5. It happens all the time because teams know how to trade. That's not what Dallas does.
They
Dallas,
saying that what I think is realistic too. I think they should do it. The Raiders, that is, if they saying that what they might do is like get like a high pick from like us, like a one, and then turn around and trade our one and their one, and I think it's like get like Lamar or get a quarterback.
I
And what
mean,
they gonna do? They're gonna take our ones and their ones and then trade their
well, let's
two.
go back. Let's go back to what I said. I'm
Yeah.
trying to set this up. There's only one team in the NFL that's going to give them a 1, and that's the team that you root for. And the reason is because he always backs himself into a corner. He had a generational pass rusher. He traded him. So what does he have to do? He has to do something with the pass rusher. The Raiders know that. And I do you one better. They're going to give the Raiders their 1. So if we're drafting, where are we drafting that on Tankathon right now? We're drafting probably 14th or 15th.
Something like that, yeah.
They're going to give the Raiders that 14th pick.
That's
And I'm telling you, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Ravens.
I would give them the next year's pick.
Next year is 1.
Yeah.
I think next year is 1 is already going to
Well, don't we have 2 this year and next year?
well, one of them is already given away.
Right.
One of your
we have
ones.
another one.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that
I won't have no first round picks in a year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I said all that to say this: the Cowboys, they're backed into a corner, so they're going to give the Raiders a 1, and so that's fine.
The Raiders are picking number 1.
So you're going to give the Raiders your 1. You're going to get Max Crosby.
Like, and this is Tankathon. This is stupid too. They thought they got us taking Jermar McCoy. I love the pick.
No. One of the things we're gonna do a whole show on them taking injured players. He's coming off an ACL. He shouldn't even be on your board.
Is that the guy that I like?
It is. He's coming off ACL. He didn't play. He didn't play this year or the year before. He's hurt.
Man,
he's got an ACL. So the Cowboys can't. Now the
he's
Cowboys.
He's the best corner I ever seen.
We're gonna do a show just on them drafting injured players. We're gonna talk about Savon Rivell. So the Cowboys shouldn't draft him. So the Cowboys can take their 1 that you would have used to get him.
They shouldn't take an edge either.
So what you're looking at there on Tankathon, ask yourself this: would you want that pick or Max Crosby?
Or yeah. You see, I would want Max Crosby.
Okay, so you're gonna have Max Crosby. You're gonna have another 1 left. So who they got us taking with our second? What's our second 1? What number?
21.
And we're taking who?
TJ Parker, the edge from Clemson. He's not good.
Okay. So let's just say you get your Max Crosby. What I would do at 21, if Sonny, what's his name from Ohio State?
He's not, but go ahead. Sonny Styles.
Where they got him going?
17.
Okay. So you're probably not going to have a shot at getting him. So if I trade down from 21 and pick up some extra picks, if I come out of the draft with Anthony Hill, I'm just throwing out a name, and you got him, and then you make a move and you get Minkah Fitzpatrick, so you've totally changed your defense. You got to do free agency, of course, but it'll put you right back on the map. And the biggest linchpin, your biggest thing you got to do is your new defensive coordinator. So if you hire the right guy and you got Max Crosby, you got a 1, and you get a Minkah Fitzpatrick. So to go back to what you were saying earlier, the Cowboys, they right back in the game. But and then you got to do some free agency too.
I got my list. So my list is they can do these things right here. They'll win the championship or get close, barring injury.
So what are your things?
Sign George Pickens, sign Javante Williams, extend Quentin Williams, sign what's his next door neighbor name?
Clark. Why do you have to
Yeah,
extend Quentin Williams?
because I think they said he gonna be coming back to the table, right? He ain't got no more guaranteed money or something like that.
Yeah.
So, you got to do those three things right there. You got to sign Pickens, you got to sign Javante, and you got to extend Quentin Williams. Also, you have to hire Brian Flores or someone of the like, because we know they're not gonna hire Brian Flores, but
No.
someone of the like. You got to get somebody like that. You do those things right there, and you draft. You don't even have to trade for Max. You don't even have to trade for Max Crosby. You can sign homeboy from the Bengals, or you can trade for Max Crosby. But if you don't trade for Max Crosby,
I like Crosby way better than him.
okay. So
He's 31. I
yep.
don't know what we're getting. And
So
by the
you
way,
trade for Max Crosby.
we need to do some research on Mika Fitzpatrick. I haven't
Yep.
seen him play. I want to make sure that we're not getting a Malik Hooker starter kit.
Right, and your safeties, you have to redo the entire safety room via free agency.
Have you watched Minka Fitzpatrick?
Mm-mm. I
He was
like, and man, these young safeties. I want a young safety, man. I feel like that's the new. I feel like to me, I feel like that's the star. That's the new star position. Like how like for a while, it was cornerback for a while. It was a line. It was linebackers
what's
for
the
a long.
highest ranked safety that you would take in the first round? Who you got?
Oh, of course, the Ohio State guy.
He's not going to be there at 21.
Yeah, so I would just have to look on the board because another thing I've been saying too. These guys be good. You ain't necessarily got to get a first round safety. These guys be good. It's just like, for instance, like when you drafted CD Lamb, but
Hey,
it was like
just so you know, in this draft, you got 2 1s and a 4 and 3 5. So you don't have a second or a third.
you can pick a safety. You can get a safety. And these guys be good. Like these guys be good. They be coming out of college and they be just like good. Like when you drafted CD, it was like 5 other receivers that were there that they were all good. And you know what I mean? It's just like Amon Ra and them. It's just like Amon Ra was like a 4th round pick, something like that, or a
Yeah,
third or second.
you got to start looking at safeties. We way ahead of the draft, but but yeah, I think you got to have. I think you need to sign 2 veteran safeties.
Yeah, I mean, either way, you know what I mean. I'm cool with it. They gotta do something that safety, but
They
you
got to
gotta do
redo
those
the
things.
room. Yeah,
You gotta sign your guys. George Pickens has got to be signed. Javante Williams has got to be signed. They got to get another tackle. I'm tired of this. They got to get another tackle. They got to move Guyton to right and get or they got to replace Steele with one of these guys.
That's an interesting point. So one of the things we're going to talk about too in some of our upcoming shows, myself, I don't think you need to do anything at tackle. I don't think you need to move anybody.
Steele is going to be let go. He's going to be post June 1. So you're going to have somebody there.
So here's my thing with the tackles, with the offense. Your offense, including your tackles, we're good enough to average 29 points a game.
Yeah, so we really ain't got to talk about that. We good on tackle. We good on offensive line. We good at there. All you got to do is sign George Pickens and sign Javante Williams and draft a running back.
And
now,
you got to rebuild your defense.
But yeah, the entire focus needs to be on the defense. You can get a running back for 7-8 million. I'm cool with Javante Williams and Malik Davis coming back. I'm cool with that.
They got the guy from the Jets that they traded for too. He's a nice back. He's gonna be in the mix.
They traded for a guy from the back from a guy from the Jets for
he's an African brother. He's got an African name.
Oh yeah, but I don't know why he ain't really just like But hey, he's nice. But him, and film off of them. So you're gonna be cool at running back. I think but
focus has to be defense. Yeah,
focus has to be defense.
It has to be your coordinator and the players.
And then I hate to tell the fans this, but Overshawn, that ship has sailed. He's gonna be a good guy to be there and understand, but the Overshawn that we once knew is no longer coming back. It's no longer there.
I think Overshawn and Leofow
Feel good
next
stories.
next team next year with the defensive coordinator that we need, I think they're gonna be okay.
They'll be
Now,
okay, but they ain't gonna be something what Sonny Styles would be.
no.
So we need somebody like that. We need Anthony Hill. We need Sonny Styles, Anthony Hill. See, the linebacker position, we've never ever got that done. You know, we had Micah, and then he got
Anthony
converted to
Hill
an
will
edge.
be there at 21. Where they got him ranked? Look
They
at
got
your
him ranked
list.
at like 34. So Anthony Hill, I want a player like Anthony Hill. I want him. I want a player like Anthony Hill. I
Oh,
want a player
I'm
like
gonna take you back to the 23 draft, and I'm gonna tell you what the Cowboys should do. They should identify the player that they want at 21 and just take him. I'm gonna go back to that 23 draft.
yeah, I like that idea.
So, the tight end from Detroit, I'm losing my train of thought.
Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta, they really liked him. He was at the top of the second round. They should have took Laporta where they took Mozzie, and you would have been fine. So, my whole point is, if you like Anthony Hill, just take him at 21, and it's all going to work out.
That's what I'm telling you. I've been saying that this whole time. You need to target players.
And just pick them.
Just pick them. Target them and pick them. I know no matter what, this guy will take me over the top. I don't care who's better than him. I want him on my team.
So what Brian Broaddus, they always say, they say every draft has about 17 first rounders. So if you're telling me in this draft it's 17 first rounders, you follow me?
Mm-hmm.
We're picking at 21. They're not first rounders, right? So if you're at 21,
that's what they say. I don't be believing that because I be believing that. I hear you. I hear what they say, but me personally, like me, it's people that we can pick that they'll have a better, just as much impact as those 17 got. 17. Like for instance, if we was to pick Anthony Hill, it don't matter if we picked Anthony Hill. If we picked Anthony Hill, I'm just gonna throw out a random name. If we pick Anthony Hill at 21, even though he's 17, it would be better than picking Kenyon Sadiq, who was a tight end.
But Anthony Hill he's not 17, he's in the 30s. My whole point is he's gonna be in your 30s, but just pick him at 21.
Yeah, just pick him. It don't matter. Just pick him. You know he good for it. Just pick him. He was what you want. He answers all of the bells, answer all of the questions. And then you gotta redo the cornerback room. Maybe these guys, you need at least one corner. Maybe these guys are coming back off of these ACLs and they okay. I don't know. You have to see. But, you know, the NFL gives you that luxury. It's called free agency. You can start training camp with your guys that you got. Butler, Bland, and Siobhan Rivera, which to me, Siobhan Rivera just looks so bad all year. And I don't even want to blame that on him because he kind of he shouldn't have rushed back. He shouldn't have never been picked.
He shouldn't have played this year.
And so hopefully next year.
I told you about his after game interview. It was pretty revealing. So he said he's not 100%.
Yep.
And he said that he know he's still rehabbing basically.
And I give him that. And I give him that.
And he said that the brace wasn't he wasn't good to play in the brace. So that's how he looked.
I give him that, and I believe him 100%.
He shouldn't have been playing.
No, it wasn't his decision. I'm saying the Cowboys forced him out there.
Yeah, we got to talk about that too. And
so with that, Siobhan Rivera, Ron Bland, who had surgery again, and then you got Josh Butler. We never seen him this year, and then you gotta get another corner. But then your linebacker and safety room, you need, and we seen this year what one player at each level can do for you. If you get you a great linebacker, one great safety, one great corner, your whole defense has changed.
What I want the Cowboys to do, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier. So you got Steven and Jerry. I got the draft. But what the Cowboys need to do, they need to just say, we're going to build an entire football team front to back with good players. Don't take a position, safety, linebacker, and just say, you know what, we're okay with average guys there. And they do that. They've been doing that for 30 years and it hasn't worked.
And then on top of that, we're gonna talk about this at some point. Quentin Williams to me disappeared for
Quentin
the Eagles.
Williams, Quentin Williams, Clark, Osa disappeared because of Eberflus. He made everybody worse. So let's do
That's
this as we wrap up. So we can go ahead and wind down. Just glad to get this out there and just do some content, and we'll come back and do another show. We're gonna do our get back on a Cowboy OG, and then just do our get our shows done with just you and I for our show. But shout out to Vach. He's on Cowboys.com, and they could absolutely not invite Vach back next year. I don't know what the contract situation is, but shout out to Vach and Derek Eagleton, because Derek Eagleton, he basically said that Jerry Jones allows them to run the show and just be critical of them with no repercussions. And so Vach is pushing that. So
Hey,
Vach,
he been acting like he don't work for the Cowboys.
yes. And so on that .com show, Vach has
He
been talking about Eberflus for basically 17 weeks.
the stuff Voch be saying, I be like Jerry's sitting back in the office looking like this at Voch.
So credit to him for just doing that. Credit to Derek Eagleton. It's clear that Derek Eagleton has not told him, hey man, the coach is still here. We don't need to be going down.
Voch don't care. He been calling for his head for a while on
Yeah.
all platforms.
So credit to Derek Eagleton and Vach for just kind of keeping it real. Hopefully Vach will be back invited next year. He may already know he's coming back, but yeah.
If Voch gets a pass to go into there and ask questions, he's gonna get fired.
And I want to talk about that. You mentioned that earlier. So this asking questions thing with new media or content creators, with people like Clarence Hill and folks like that kind of being out here.
Oh, we got to shout out Chill too. He been flaming too. He was flaming during the season on the plane.
So it's slow progress. You're gonna start seeing some of these questions being asked, but the bottom line is this: what I've always told you too. It doesn't really matter what questions you ask these guys, because they're gonna always give you the Captain Obvious answer. So my thing is, here's what I've been saying. You know me. You've been hearing me say this a while. I don't even want to hear what they have to say about any questions.
I would ask them. Like when I heard him the other day, I would have just said, I would have said, Mr. Jones. I would say, sir, why are you so happy?
Yeah. So that's the difference between you and I. You want the questions asked. Me, I don't care to hear what they have to say.
Why aren't you like pissed off, steaming mad? Huh?
And me over here, I don't want to hear anything from Steven or Jerry until it's NFC Championship week and they playing in a game. I don't need to hear anything they got to say. I don't want to hear the answers. I don't want to see their face. Next time I see Steven and Jerry, I'm finna say they having a press conference. Normally the coaches do that. That's another problem. But yeah, when it's an NFC Championship game week, I want to hear from them. Other than that, I do not want to hear their answers to anything.
I told K-Rock the other day, I was on the phone with him when I was listening to the interview. They asked Steven, so do you think it's a possibility that Trayvon, that y'all can patch things up and that he can come back and play next year and da. And Steven was like, absolutely. I told K-Rock, okay, yeah, that's it. Trayvon is out of here. He's gonna be cut.
And that's why you don't need to listen to anything they say.
I said, did you hear what he just said? He said it's possibility that Trayvon gonna be back next year. Trayvon has probably already been cut.
Here's what they did. So when Dez was on the roster that last offseason, every day, every week, Jerry was saying, we haven't even talked about Dez next year. I haven't even thought about Dez being on the team. He's going to be on the team. I'm blah, blah, blah. He said it every time they asked him. And what did they do? They not only cut Dez, they waited till after free agency was over, when all of the free agency money had dried up, and they cut him after that.
And then they revealed, on top of all of that, just to make matters worse, they revealed that they actually included the players in on this. So
Yeah, and
you know,
I was telling you that earlier. So one of the things that's wrong with this organization, the dysfunction of it, it's really messy the way they do that. So good organizations, they don't talk to the players. They just don't do that. What they do is they just have a plan. They execute their plan, they stick to it. They know what kind of players they want. Uh, the 49ers, they wouldn't even talk about Eberflus. They wouldn't even talk to the players about Eberflus. They would just fire Eberflus and be done with it and move on to the next thing.
they talked to them. They didn't even talk to them. So my thing is this: like the only reason why I said that about Micah is because Micah was making it clear that he is trying everything in his power to get to win us a championship. He was talking to the front office about. We had never ever heard a player say that they were talking to the front office about being aggressive in free agency.
Yeah,
Micah was saying that.
but the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Packers, the 49ers, the player doesn't have an option to talk to the front
Yeah,
office.
because their front office aren't doing stupid things like that. So
Yeah, but
it's just like
yeah.
Micah is like one of us. Like Micah was just like, you know what? Yeah, no, I understand that they tripping on not being involved in free
And see,
agency.
you remember that situation with Sean Lee and Jason Witten with Dez. The reason that actually happened, Dez was furious with them because Dez was told. I don't know if and we found out later it probably wasn't true. Dez was under the impression that the front office had talked to them and they told the front office they didn't want Dez back. And we found out later they didn't really talk to them about Dez. But it was kind of thrown out there. Now, if somebody watching our show that's going to hear it, they're going to say they know that front office did talk to Witten and Sean Lee about that. Sean Lee was pretty upset about that. That
Yeah,
that
he
Dez,
was.
that Dez thought he was involved, and Sean Lee swore that he wasn't.
Yeah,
So I
Sean Lee
believe
did.
Sean Lee,
Me too.
but
Yeah, I believe him.
this team is so messy and so dysfunctional. One of the reasons it's so many reasons that you haven't won over 30 years. One of the reasons is because your front office is so messy. It's
Yeah,
just it's just a mess.
it's just this. Yeah, this is the first time in a long time where I just looked at the organization and said, "This is just a total disaster. This is a mess."
The way he handled that Micah thing was a
That was just
complete
crazy.
mess. It was
That was
just a disaster.
It couldn't have went worse. It
Yeah.
couldn't have went worse. I
He
mean, like,
went he's on Fox News talking about mommy daddy games, talking about he don't know who the agent's name is. Then
bro,
he
talking about
said that he told him to sub the contract up
it's
his
just like
G1. Nope,
all of these.
none of that was true.
Like, bro, why are you just lying like this? What is the motivation?
Just mess. Just messy.
That was absolutely crazy. He need to
So
be hit in his mouth for that. That was
so
just
he's
like, bro, what are you doing? Why would you do that?
he's seen 30 years of what that has got him. But
I
the
would
point
not. If I
but
was
he
Micah, I would not have anything nice to say about the Joneses. I wouldn't have anything
no,
nice to say about them,
no.
man.
Michael got his money. He's in Green Bay. Now he's got a rehab. But the thing is, we keep going back to this guy right today. He's sitting at home in North Dallas. He chilling. He ain't nothing going on. He's fine with where he is. He already knows what he's gonna do this off season. And the football stuff, he thinks he's on top of it. And,
Does is Jean Jones? Is that Jerry Jones' wife?
yeah,
Is that Steven's mom?
yeah.
That's crazy that he would call his mom by her first name. That's just crazy.
They do that. It's got something to do with the business part of it, where they just trying to. It's because they've asked Steven multiple times why he doesn't call his dad versus Jerry, and it's at the end of the day, we don't really care. Just
Just
get
like
to
he
the
talking
NFC
about,
Championship game, bro.
yeah, he talking about, yeah, we went over Gene and Jerry house. It's like, who are what? Like
That's
what?
they've done that the whole time, and
Who are these
hey,
people you're referring to? Is that you talking about your mother and your father?
it's a business part of it. They somewhere along the way they think that because they're a family business, it's kind of like a mom. It's almost like a mom and pop, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's
But
it.
yeah,
Oh,
that's kind
that's
of what they do. I don't really have an issue with that myself. My thing is,
striking to me.
hey,
I just said that because they were just so talking about how excited they were for the holidays. It's just like,
uh,
bro, Do you understand that Christmas was like, damn near ruined because y'all was like out of the playoffs? This is
Mm.
just like this is totally crazy
You know
that.
what I can? You know what just infuriates me
Mm,
is every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, he's on 105.3 The Fan. They ask him the same question every year about hunting. Where they're going to be hunting? They hunting duck. Uh, they they go through his Christmas tradition every year. Uh,
the hell is they
one
talking
one
about?
one of these weeks they started talking to him about he got on the squirrel brain some kind of way. So man, shout out to 105.3 The Fan, but guys, every Thanksgiving and every Christmas, I understand it's the holidays and everything. You gotta do what you gotta do, but fam, we this is Dallas. We trying to get to the Super Bowl and win one. That's why I keep telling you, I just don't really want to. I don't want to hear anything from them. I don't want to hear anything from them, honestly, uh, about anything.
These
And
guys
it's,
are
and
these
it's
guys are
that's where
too
we are.
smart.
They reduced us to where you're just like Ebenezer Scrooge. I don't want to hear anything from them about Christmas. I
I
just
don't want to
don't.
watch. I don't want to watch. I told my coworker today. I said, "Man, I'm not even watching no football, dog. I'm not watching none. I'm not watching no. I'm
Well, and
just
that's the other thing that
not
me
doing
and you
no."
gotta. Here's the thing. That's another thing with them. A win for them is that you just start watching football, and I'm not. They ain't get that. Ain't happening on my watch. The Jerry Jones regime is not ruining my love for the game of football, NFL football. I'm watching it.
It's like, what day and age are we in to where it's just like, you know what? I actually want to see other teams that are rivals. I want to see them do good because it's pointless to root for my team. I want to see. I
Oh
want to
man.
see.
So again, we disagree. I can tell you right now, what I'm gonna be watching the playoffs for.
I ain't
I'm,
watching playoffs.
I'm watching the playoffs. I want the 49ers to lose as soon as possible. I don't want the Steelers to make it. So I'm interested in this game they got coming up Sunday. I want the rate
Thought they already got put out by this last game that they played.
the Steelers.
Yeah,
No,
the
the Steelers
Browns
and
put them out.
the Steelers and the Ravens playing for that division title on Sunday.
And we got to talk about. We got to just talk about the NFL and how these teams have rebuilt their entire teams 4 and 5 times, and the
Yeah,
Cowboys have yet to do anything.
it'll be a great show, and I got a whole bunch of stats I need you to pull up and look at. But yeah, we got to talk about that. How
The Eagles have
I
rebuilt
went to
their
sleep,
teams.
so I was kind of out of the loop for a couple of weeks. I had no idea that the 49ers was winning like that, but I shouldn't be surprised.
Nah, man,
And
it's
they
just
could
crazy.
end up with home field advantage.
They can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and you
They'll
at
beat the
30,
Rams.
30 years.
Hmm. They'll
Hmm.
beat the Rams.
They
They
could.
will. Yeah.
Sean McVay quietly. He's doing a Dan Campbell thing. He's cost him a couple of games. He did last night.
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out, and I was just like, bro, like, but also they got robbed last night. They should have won that game. It was so many plays on that last drive that the NFL just totally screwed them. Like that one call that was totally pass interference. They would have won the game if that
Yeah, they're
wasn't
not gonna
that.
throw a flag right there.
I don't know why it was clear
Nah.
pass
And
interference.
if they was in LA, it would have got called.
And then on top of that, it's just like, dude, that was a catch. Puka Nakua caught that ball. It's just like,
So the
bro,
ball, the ball. If you watch the entire replay,
it never.
the
It
ball
so
changed
what?
hands. Yeah,
So what? It never touched the ground. You know how hard that is to do.
I mean it was a debatable call, but yeah, but Sean
You know what?
McVay on that drive before should have just took the field goal.
You know what they're saying to me? What they're saying to me is if like a receiver, like let's just say a quarterback just launches the ball, right? Let's just say
Mm.
let's say a receiver, let's say a quarterback launches the ball and the ball gets stuck in between a guy's shoulder pads right here, and he walks in the end zone like this, and then touches the ball like that. They'll say that that's not a catch. It's like, bro, the ball was on him. He crossed the end zone with both of his feet, and then he grabbed the ball. That is a touchdown. Just because he didn't, it's just like you mean to tell me what if the ball gets stuck in the guy's face mask? That's not a catch because he didn't touch it with his hand.
Mm.
It's just like,
It
but
was
but the
tough call.
ball, but the ball went in his face mask and he crossed the end zone and it's just there. It's just like last night. He caught that ball with one hand. He grabbed that ball with one hand and touched both of his feet down. And then the ball came down on his chest when he landed. And they said that's not
It's
a catch.
it's the Dez catch. It's the same thing.
That's a catch all day. They should have won.
Mm.
They should have caught that ball. And on the and they should have that was a pass interference clearly. He grabbed his arm and pulled it back. And then the
So what?
dude, and he wasn't even turned around at all. He wasn't turned around.
So what we're seeing in the NFL this year, we saw it a couple of times with the Lions. These coaches
Aggressive.
and me and Uncle Eric was talking about this. He's always saying, just like you, go for it. In some of these games, just take a
Yes.
field goal and it'll all wash out. Because just if they had to kick the field goal when they had a chance to, they would have had enough time. They touchdown would have put them ahead, and then
Yeah.
he threw the pick on fourth and what was it, fourth and on a fourth down play. If he had taken the field goal, there is no pick. So it's kind of weird how these coaches are doing. They better be glad. And Shotty, man, he had a couple of those, and but
Yeah.
yeah,
Eagles, he messed. He almost blew the game. It's like, what are you doing, bro? You're supposed to kick the field goal, take the points, and go up.
yeah. Let's go ahead and wrap. So let's talk about how people can find our show. We're gonna get back and start doing some shows.
Yeah, we're gonna get back and start doing some shows. We really enjoy what we do. We'll be having to take some breaks just to get ourselves together. But hey, we really enjoy what we're doing, and we really enjoy our supporters. And like I said, this is the thing. This thing never stops. So the NFL has done a good job in making it 24/7 year round thing. It's now that we're finna go into playoff mode, and we're gonna be talking about the playoffs and talking about the
Mm.
Cowboys and what they can get ready to do for the off season.
Well, next
And
week we probably gonna be talking about the firing of a coordinator.
nah, I don't. He coming. I think he coming back.
Oh
And
man, well that's
yeah,
gonna be a show too. If he coming back,
yeah, I think he coming back. I don't even think they gonna fire him. I think they
when
gonna.
that's announced, we doing the show the same day.
I think they gonna. I think he's gonna come. Well, this is what history says. History says that he's gonna come back and that he's gonna be the one in the draft room, in the war room, clapping.
And history repeats itself. For 30 years, you haven't been in an NFC Championship game. If
Mhm.
they do that, it's gonna be 33 years. That's how bad that's gonna be.
Yeah. It's very possible. I heard James Slater say today. Did you
I-
guys
I-
did you guys look at his stats
Mm.
in Chicago? His defenses were good. I
Hey,
said,
I'm
oh well.
gonna leave you with this. So I've been doing this lately. So you know how they have Division 1, Division 2 football?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Division 1 and the NFL, you know who they are. It's the Cowboys, the Steelers, the 49ers, the Packers, the Patriots, all of the teams that have Super Bowl rings and traditions. That's Division 1. Division 2 is Indianapolis, um, Cleveland, the Cardinals. Cardinals
Yeah.
might be Division 3.
Yeah.
So
Carolina.
Carolina, they might be Division 2. We put them in Division 2. And they actually been to a couple of Super Bowls. Have they been to 2?
Yeah. They've been to a
So
couple.
I can argue they're
Can't-
in Division 2.
Yeah.
So what I said out to say this: when you hire a coach and you talking about what he did in Division 2 as far as stats, I don't want to hear that. I don't care. He had good stats in Indianapolis. It wasn't at San Fran. It wasn't at Green Bay, or it wasn't in the Ravens.
And then
So
on
why are we
top of
talking
that,
about that? What for? What?
and then on top of that, the same exact team that he had is playing on fire this year. He had the same exact team.
Well, they actually went 7-1, and they when I watched them play the 49ers, they were not a good team. So you got these two things. So you got the Indianapolis Colts.
No, I'm talking about Chicago.
Oh, you talking about Chicago? Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the same exact team. He had the same exact team in Chicago.
I was talking about his stats we keep hearing about his stats at Indianapolis.
I don't want to hear about that.
And then his stats at Chicago, they didn't win any playoff games.
Yeah,
So what are we talking about?
He almost had Caleb Williams. We almost thought he was a bust.
Yeah. So why we keep talking about his stats? He has no skins on the
skins on the
wall.
wall. He
No.
needs to just go away. They need to fire him. This is
So
not okay.
so we're gonna talk about up the coaches that we should look at. And so two of the coaches that might be available, and I'm not so sure that they are. It's gonna be Todd Bowles and Raheem Morris. I'm not a big fan of Raheem Morris, but what we can say about him,
The
he was
defense
a
blitz.
he was a defensive coordinator when the Rams won it. He had
Mhm.
Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, and then Todd Bowles, the year that the Buccaneers shut out Kansas City, he was the defensive coordinator. So I
So
said,
is Al Harris just a coach over there? He's not the defensive coordinator.
he's a defensive back coach.
He needs to be a coordinator. He gonna be a head coach, whatever. But I'll definitely. But they don't. We need to talk about what you said about Shotty not getting along with him.
Yeah, Broadus mentioned that twice. We need to figure out what's going on there.
Well, Chicago, they probably finna open up. They talking about Trayvon might be going up there to play with them in the playoffs.
Chicago is going to be definitely a team, and they're going to get a good player. What Trayvon needs to do, he doesn't need to play the next year. He doesn't need to play at all. He just needs to take 1 year off. He'll be 2 years from that
No,
ACL in 2 years.
they're saying that he might play for them in the playoffs this year.
Well, he's not going to look good,
And they
but yeah,
saying he
just
might be on the squad.
he can go out there. It's going to be freezing. So if I was Trayvon, I wouldn't do that. Did you hear today? He hired David Mulugeta.
Yeah, I mean that's not surprising.
Which is the other thing that was surprising is what was he doing without an agent? Like that's just not. Come on,
Well, I
man.
mean, these players they do a little they doing it a little different. A lot of these
Mhm.
players don't have agents until it's time to need an agent, and
That's
then
not
you
really
get one.
smart.
And then Trayvon, they none of these things are surprising. And well, what is surprising, I guarantee you think that I bet you that gonna play next week. Just pitiful.
Yeah, we keep saying these things happen with this team again. They think they know what they're doing. Next
Just like,
week,
bro,
if you got Dak out there, you're not good at your job.
like, bro, why they you know what they be doing? They be in like a fantasy land. It's like they be in like fantasy. It's just like, bro, the moment that the moment that we were eliminated from the playoffs, they should have had CD, Dak, George Pickens, all of the starters in sweatsuits on the sideline, chilling in the press box. That's what I would have did. I'd have been like, bro, y'all go to the press box because it's that serious. It's that serious. We're talking about winning playoff football. So next year, this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about like, oh, go get your stats good. Oh, let's go 8-8. No, we're eliminated. Season's over. Go up. Y'all are not playing. End of discussion. Because if y'all can get hurt and ruin next year, y'all not playing. Okay, y'all not playing. The Pro Bowl stuff has already been submitted. All Pro, all that has already been
So
submitted. Y'all not play. Y'all have nothing to play for. Nothing.
this is what the Cowboys do. We're gonna talk about it on our next show. Boy, they talk about Diggs. We don't hear all of this talk about Jaden Blue. We talking about like just name a player. Uh,
Bamingo.
that's what I was gonna say. You know how odd it is. We done played 17 games. Nobody's talking about the fact that they traded a 4th-round pick for Mingo.
I mean, just a 4th round pick for a player that wasn't. That's why I'm telling you, they run a charity organization.
It's not a charity. They just don't know what they're doing.
It's just about charity. They just want to make it. They want to be like the Salvation Army. And they want to give somebody a
No, no,
good
no,
deed.
no. That's not what they're doing.
It's just like Jalen Smith. He tore his leg up. Let's give him a contract and change his life.
I'm telling you, they traded for Jonathan Mingo because they thought it was a good trade.
Yeah, well, they need
They
to get
just
checked
bad.
out.
They just bad at their job.
They're not intelligent people. No one would think that. No one that has a high IQ would think that that's a good trade.
They're intelligent. They're just not good football people. They don't know. They don't know. We're gonna go back to where they started. When
They
they
are
first,
sabotaging their own organization.
they sabotaging it, not purposely. They think they're doing a good job
I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why they think. Where are they getting that from?
because they think that they're good football people. They just don't. They don't know that they're not.
They haven't
But
won anything in 30 years.
because they're not any good at what they're not good at what they do.
And you can point directly to them and say, this is why y'all lost because you did this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you did this, we lost because of that. So, and you can do that, and you can go back year after year after year after year and say, hey, we lost because you did not get Derrick Henry, and then you lied to us about it.
So they're bad mechanics. They are the mechanic that they don't know what they're doing. They're not a good mechanic, but boy, they'll tell you everything they need that you need to know about a car by fixing the car, but they're not good at it.
Yeah, they
They're
just don't
not.
know what that. That's a good analogy. So we're gonna wrap up on that one, guys. So y'all stay tuned, hit the notification bell, make sure you subscribe to us on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook. You can go follow our Facebook. We're live on Facebook right now on both of our Facebooks. And so um you can just type in our names. Actually, you can type in Fastcast on Facebook. It'll pop right up. FASCAST. That stands for Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk. And so you can follow us. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And our Cash app is cash sign, the $ ITUW. It's an acronym for I tell you what. So you want to hit the Cash app and support us. We would appreciate that as well. We're gonna put it right back into the show and use it for good. So you all make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one.
Happy New Year.
Happy